Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paulus Richardo. I'm from IT Dell, and I'm sitting here as the Prime Minister with this motion. This House, as a first-generation immigrant parent of color in a predominantly white country, will choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enclave. Let's break down the motion first. What do you mean by the first-generation immigrant? First-generation immigrant refers to someone who was foreign-born, for example, they are Chinese-born or African-born, and then they relocated to a certain country. And in this motion, we talk about a predominantly white country, and I'm going to take the example of USA, American, and then they become a citizen in there as an immigrant. So they are like Chinese-American, African-American, like that. And in this motion, they choose to live and raise their children in an ethnic enclave. And enclave means communities or a certain place with high concentration of one ethnic, for example, like the Chinese or the black people, in certain place, and it runs by the maintaining a strong sense of ethnic or national identity or their culture. And why we are talking about this and why it's important? We are talking about we as a parent want to raise our children in a safe place. We all want that as a parent. And especially if you are as an immigrant, a first generation immigrant, especially in a predominantly white country, like we talk in America, we want our child to safe. We want them to raise them still in our culture, in our way. For example, if we are Chinese, we still want them to know about our Chinese culture, about our song, about our culture that has to do this and that. Or maybe as a black people, we still want to keep our culture, because we still appreciate our culture, and we want that also that happen to our children. And why is this happening? We all know what is happening right now in America. Racism is everywhere. It's not important anymore that if you are only black that get the racism. It's everything. Even though you are black, even though you are Chinese, and we want our children as to save, especially us. For example, if I'm black people and I have a children, I want my children to be safe and not get a lot of racism. And by raising them in ethnic enclave, we can prevent that. Not because we doesn't want our children to actually communicate to other race and just to our race in this ethnic enclave. No. I don't doesn't mean that. Why the racism at young age is not very good. There is a lot of example already that I don't need to tell. That even though you maybe don't know, you're already thinking about it. If you are black and then you're going to school, a lot of your friends are white. There is a very very high percentage that you're getting bullied because you're black, and I don't want that to out my children. And I want them to be taught in a very good education. That doesn't mean that if you are going to be at ethnic enclave, you are not getting education that white people also your friend or maybe the other. Because if you're at the ethnic enclave, you first of all as a parent we have a sense of safe, because that's where our people, that's where our race. We still understand them, and it's actually very close to us. But that doesn't mean that the other race is not safe. We all know a lot of ethnic enclave that in America is actually run by the government and loved by the government. For example, we can talk about the Houston Chinatown. It's very famous, and Houston actually using the Chinatown as a tourism, and people love Chinatown. They even the basketball team in Houston very love Chinatown and appreciate them very highly. And if I'm as a parent in the Chinatown, if I'm Chinese and have a children, that the Chinatown is actually praised highly, that will be great. Our children will be grown as not actually afraid of their ethnic. Oh, I'm Chinese, I'm different, I hate my Chinese ethnic. No, they will be proud because they're actually Chinese, and they raise by understanding that by their culture, and they will love their culture more, and because they are an ethnic life, they will understand more about their culture, and they can share it to other people, to other race about their culture, that our culture is beautiful and your culture also beautiful. We just want to share each other. And then because racism at young age is not very good, by this we can tell that differences can work together, and because of that we can teach them to our children that we as immigrant, we as first generation immigrant in certain country in American, we are still their citizen. And by meaning we are still their citizens, we are still their assets. We all know Asian For example, if we are Chinese, Asian known as certain ethnic race that was very very smart, as we know that only Asian can do maths and stuff, and by meaning this, we as an immigrant or as a different ethnic in certain country in America will be loved because oh they are the new whites, they are Asians, we love them very much by the country, and that's actually happening a couple years lately in American. And if you are maybe black, you will be appreciate. Oh, black people were naturally born big or strong, and we all know that. We can see basketball reference again. In American people who play in NBA, 80% was black. Why? Because they are big, they are strong, and that make the game exciting more to watch. And are they all from ethnic enclave? No, but mostly yes. And can you imagine if you're from the ethnic enclave and you raise your children and you say, "Oh yeah, you know what? Son, you are close. We are very close. Our house to what used to be a great player to be played," and then that will make our children very very happy and very very proud about their ethnic culture. We doesn't want them to be afraid to become their culture. We want them to be very very proud to become their either black, Chinese, Mexican, etc. And by making them we want to raise and live in ethnic life doesn't mean we want to have a social gap, to have a society gap and differences. No, we want to tell that our differences can work together, can walk together in a certain country, and making whole life is better than we are actually have to deal with system and differences. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Natassija and I represent Intstitut Teknologi as the Deputy Prime Minister. Today, I would like to state that I firmly believe, as a first-generation immigrant parent of color in the predominantly white country, would choose to live and raise children in ethnic enclave. Why is that so? We have to see the urgency of what is happening at the moment. We can see that lots of things are happening that is in the racism sector. We can see George Floyd being murdered by the cops, and we can see lots of things at the minor events or this racism thing are happening or occurring at the moment every day. That's why it is hard for people of color to maintain their children, to not hate their ethnicity or their true ethnicity, their roots, by not listening to the white people or their standard of beauty or the standard of everything. Because we can see that today, at the moment, the world's standard is leaning to one ethnic, which we can see that it is the white ethnicity. This, we as the people of color, we should strengthen our root, and we have to educate our children that they are also important and they are also precious despite their colors, their skin colors, the native language they are speaking, and other aspects as well. As a parent, we want the best for our children. We want them to be as brilliant, or we want them to have lots of achievements that leads us to immigrate to a very developed country such as the USA. It is important to educate our youths that they are also important and they can be as amazing as they want to be, by not being anybody else, or by shifting their true self, their true ethnicity to another, because of because of the standard that that is occurring in the field. the opposition team might say that we can educate our children to adapt in the environment or the predominantly white country by educating them to survive of the racism, but it will not only but it will only um, affect the children's mental. We don't know what they are thinking at the moment. It might drive them to hate their true ethnicity. They might hate their self for by being different from the standard. Thus, it is very crucial to educate the people of color or the children of color to love their differences by living in ethnic enclave, because they are safe in that by socializing with people of the same color or the same ethnicity. They can adapt or they can socialize to make one and another stronger, to protect one another from the racism or the bullying that the outsider gave to them. That's why it is very, very crucial for the parents to reconsidering them to live and raise children in ethnic enclave, not just to ensure their children not being bullied by the skin by their skin color or by the language that they are speaking at home, but because of to the security of their mental health as well. Thus, where the opposition team might say that it will only decrease their knowing of the outside world, but no, we firmly believe we firmly stated that the we also let our children to wander outside, to adapt outside. Of course, they will have jobs. They will go to school. They can always go to public school and meet other people with other ethnicity. But we will have we will guide them, or we will give them security by at the environment at home by being in the same ethnicity, so they can really protected by the really protected from the abrupt racism they might have in their young age. And the opposition team might say that they can educate them from home with the diversity of their neighborhood, but we don't know what we cannot supervise them 24/7, but it is and we don't know what other children are saying to them 24/7, and what and the things they make them to feel what they feel. So it is very crucial for us as a parent to raise our children of color in ethnic enclave, to give them reassurance that they are enough and they are as important as other people. We also have to see the impact of the children to not live in the ethnic enclave. They will be much more comfortable to live there because they are with the people who with the same ethnicity or the same color, and they can also play with them all together. I would like to bring up Michelle Obama, who is indeed one of the most powerful women ever. She used to live in an ethnic enclave where their street was lots of African American live there, but she is indeed one of the most empathetic person, one of the most brilliant women, one of the most powerful feminist there is. That's why when the opposition might say that it will be such a decreasing of education. We strongly believe that that as a first generation immigrant parent of color in a predominantly white country would still choose to live and raise children in ethnic enclave to secure their children from the racism at the young age. Thank you.